Today is a great privilege and joy to share with you a story about Rosewood Baptist Church. Rosewood Baptist is located in the rural Queensland town of Rosewood, about an hour's drive from the Brisbane CBD and about 19 k's from Ipswich. Rosewood Baptist serves its community with a fresh dedication to outwardly demonstrate the love of Jesus to their community. This is a story of a rural church revitalised by God through a renewed commitment to serving shoulder to shoulder with the community, addressing the real needs wherever possible. And in their faithfulness, Rosewood has also partnered with Minden Baptist Church to provide staffing resources aimed at intentionally serving the youth in the area. Here are some of the team from Rosewood Baptist just to share a bit of their story of what Jesus is doing.
Hi, my name's Phil. In 2018, the Lord opened the opportunity for my wife and I to commence ministry in Rosewood, and it was an interesting commencement of a journey because Rosewood was a church that had come to a point where they were recognising they needed some major change to be able to continue on. Or the other option would be that it might have been time to kind of close. But the church very, very courageously made a very clear decision that they believed that they still had a future and that they wanted to have a future, and were prepared to work on revitalising, and that struck a chord with me. The number one kind of goal or condition was that the church establish an off-campus outreach service ministry to the community. Basically, it was where we weren't expecting people to come to church to get God, but rather, on behalf of God, we would take His love and message out. We agreed that, well, why not work with the school communities and partner with the chaplaincy ministry through SU? We didn't have to reinvent a wheel there, that those workers were already there, needed support. So we intentionally did that and offered hampers to needy families and whatnot, and just made ourselves available when the needs arose. But what it did was, bit by bit, it developed a profile for this church in the community as being there to serve. And our reputation started to shift a little bit, and to be into a much more positive light within the community, as rather than that group that, who are they anyway, to being a group that became known as we serve.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm the youth worker here at Rosewood Baptist Church, and I'm also the youth worker at Minden Baptist Church and the chaplain at Lowood State High School. I would say it's changed everything actually for the people of Rosewood and the young people here. And I think we've transitioned from a place of the community not even having much to do with the church, or maybe people have never even looked at the church before. And it's really, the shift has been from people's willingness just to pray, to be a support to the school and not pick and choose what they are doing, but just whatever the need is. And I think it's really changed just the whole atmosphere of the town as well. Like, the people know who we are. People know that we want to help them, we want to support them, and people are comfortable to ask now as well. Yeah, sometimes the support that we give is financial or with food and practical things, but you can see on people's faces that that the value that gets added to them when they know someone cares. And that has been life-changing for so many of the students, and we've seen that reflected through just growing those relationships and the trust that is built from that as well.
As a response to COVID, one of our people, a number of our people were sort of starting to say, we've got to be able to do something, And one of our people is very connected to the farming world, and he said, I know a lot of people who take things to the markets and it's just not accepted by the markets. And they throw it all out. What should I do about that? So we said, well, ask. And so he just started making approaches, and potatoes and pumpkins and onions and all sorts of things started getting donated. And so we offered boxes of veggies to the schools each week, and it's become a major source of connection and service, along with standard pantry hampers, where the schools and the chaplains can use them however they like to meet whatever needs that they see. And again, there's no strings attached. We just offer it and deliver it. And now that schools and principals and staff are contacting us direct when there's a need, whether that be a major incident happens with a family or at the school, or we've had families lose everything with house fires, and along with the community, we just get alongside to serve. And it's been an exciting journey for me as a pastor of a church where the church was struggling, and in many ways there may not have been a good prognosis, but there was a belief God wanted us to move forward. And so we just had this attitude, well, if God wants us to do this and we believe it, we'll step out and do what we can. And with a demographic of what this church represents, which is, not your typical suburban church, it's just been, I think, nothing short of a miracle, the work of God, to see the transformation here, where people who felt that they no longer could do anything for the kingdom, regularly stepping up and serving in their wonderful ways. 12 months ago, the opportunity came to have young people go off to a youth event. And as a result, the young people made commitments to God, and we just together believed, well, we've got to do whatever it takes. We as a church had believed that, and we're heading down the track of youth ministry, and with a view to probably putting on a youth worker for that as an outreach work. But before that could be eventuated, we were talking about it and even starting to look at a particular person. Before that could happen, God already had the youth work underway. And that was, to me as a pastor, that was so affirming and confirming, and the church's heart to develop that kind of ministry, God was well behind it before we did anything. And to see now, 12 months down the track, the number of young people that are regularly coming along, we have, in partnership with Minden, have a youth worker on staff that's doing a tremendous job. And again, it's about making an impact into the community.
So when we started the youth ministry, we were quite nervous about it because we didn't have a lot in our hands to start off with. But we probably had about four or five leaders and we'd never worked in this team atmosphere before. And we had about 25 young people rock up, and with no resources and not a whole lot of a clue what we were doing, but God really blessed us. And basically what unfolded for us over the next couple of months is the community became aware of what we were doing and the impact it was making in students who often wouldn't have anything to do around the town. We actually had the community get together and say, what can we do to help support you guys? And so we ended up having the community giving us money, giving us funding, giving us resources and just seeing the value in what we were doing and that it was making a difference. And so our youth ministry just has continued to grow, and we've seen 90 young people walk through the doors of our church. And on an average youth night, we can get anywhere between 30 and 50 students. And it's just been incredible how God has met every need. Like, we started with 4 leaders and ended up with 12 to 13 helpers at times. And God has just, fulfilled every need that we've had.
At the end of the day, it's the health and vitality of this church, where there's, on any given Sunday, the enthusiasm, the anticipation for worship, for fellowship, for what is God going to say here to us today. It's just been palpable. It's it's been something that people can take home every week, and that speaks to me as a church with health and vitality, and it's been so exciting to be part of the move of God in an area where, on the one hand, it could have been a church that was maybe discarded, but God is in the business of bringing health and renewal and vitality, and that's what it's about. So it's been exciting.